hour 2 of Implicit Bias. We are winning in the Top Secret Podcast Lair, presented by Mr. Lester Steakhouse, which, by the way, to the crew here in the TSPL, did y'all know it's $10 pour month in November? So if you
I dropped my phone.
I was there when you made that announcement.
Yes, you were.
I must not have been sober.
Yes, you were. I'm surprised.
You weren't there.
I am shocked that Drunkle remembers. I'm just saying, Renee.
I participated in that.
Okay.
That's why.
Yeah, that's what I thought. $10 pour month, bourbon and whiskey. Go see them. They've got a bunch of $10 pours, and some of it is just stuff that is absolute unobtainium in the bourbon whiskey world. I'm talking Bluegrass Trilogy 3.
For $10?
For $10. Yeah. I'm talking they've got some Representative for $10. I'm talking they've got even down to some Elements and Barana finish for $10. I mean, you name it, they've got it. I'm talking the Angels Envy, all that stuff. All that stuff. $10 a pour.
Well, I know what to break my dollars into, baby.
The only 5-star restaurant between New Orleans and Houston, trust me, you don't want to miss it. And the best steak you will ever eat. I promise.
Ever.
That's the second best meat you've ever had in your mouth, right?
Yeah.
Spinellas. It's the Spinellas.
Sorry. I had to.
Yeah.
Chef Willie does a great job.
We know you've had it, Caleb.
Yeah.
We know. All right, so you've kind of met the crew who's here. If you missed any of hour 1, go find us on our socials. Find us anywhere you get podcasts, whether it's Google, Spotify, whether it's iHeartRadio, whether it's Apple Podcast. Please follow, subscribe, download all the episodes.
Leave us a review, too.
Yeah, look, that's a big one. We're going to have to put out a contest on just reviews. And we'll take reviews on Facebook. We'll take reviews on X. Anywhere you want to leave a review, we will take it. If you don't like it, you know what? That's fine. We'll just delete it. Anyway, I'm kidding. No, I'm kidding. We won't. We actually won't, because it's your implicit bias. That's
we
what
want
it's all
honesty. About. That's what we're after is honesty. Yeah. We want honest reviews, heartfelt reviews. Like, let us know how we have affected your life and liver.
Don't just get out there and just trash it just to trash it. Give us constructive criticism. If you don't like it, let us know why.
I love
you
how
don't like
Renee's
it.
assuming that everyone we're going to get is going to be bad.
Just in case.
Just in case.
I mean, that's how we grow, right? That's
is.
what it's meant to be. It's whenever you ask for criticism, you have to take the good and the bad,
right?
Because they can go both ways. And if you don't have a good sounding board in your life to tell you, hey, you need to be on track, and this is what you said, and this is what you do, then that's what you have to have.
I mean, that's one of the things a lot of people do on reviews and stuff. They give you a 1-star, hated it. That was it. No, tell me why.
Yeah.
Give me an explanation why.
And look, Kavan will even sit there and respond to it. I know on Saturday night, Kavan was really embroiled in a really good conversation with one of our listeners, and it went on for hours. And I'm sure there was some real constructive stuff that came out of it.
Which is going to bring us to a theme for hour 2.
Ooh.
And this actually applies to the election. Walker, you might have to deal with this one. Winning is good. We like to win. But when you win, if you want everyone to hate you, be an asshole about it. In other words,
A sore winner?
A sore winner is worse than a sore loser. Because I can understand a sore loser, but when you're a sore winner, you know what you become at that level? You just become that person who can't read the room.
You add the E.
You become that person who's no fun at parties. And yes, I caught the add the E off of cachet. Right? You become that person that even people who agree with you look at and go, I still don't like them. You become that person that everybody just starts to feel sorry for because they realize that you're not that bright. They realize that you've got nothing else in your life, that people have hurt you over something so trivial that, you know what? We are all dumber for having engaged you, and may God have mercy on your soul. That's what you become. So don't be that way about the election, right? What I'm saying is there are a lot of people taking a victory lap right now, and I get it. But still don't be that person. Because at the end of the day, you got to live next to 49% of the country.
I'm sitting down and I'm looking, and the E was for wiener. So I'm sitting down, and I've got some pretty far left people that I'm acquaintances with, and some that I'm good friends with, some I'm family with. And I've heard them. I haven't talked to them since the election, but I've seen what they post on social media and everything else. And I'm like, look, we have to have discussion, and you have to have disagreements. You have to be able to communicate. You have to be able to articulate why you're upset in some manner that's just better than boo-hoo. Like, tell me why you're heartbroken. Tell me why you think that the world's going to end, because this is how we felt just a few years ago.
Are those people that you won't be invited to Thanksgiving and Christmas dinners to?
No, I invite them.
Oh yeah, you'll invite them, but will they invite you? Will they invite you?
To your point, they didn't.
Yeah.
But that's a big.
Now I feel hurt.
It's a big differentiator, right?
I mean, that psychologist was on TV talking about that. You should not go to your family if that. I'm like, really?
But Renee, here's kind of where we are, and this really identifies with, it's not 49% of the country that acts this way. It's probably 10% of the country, and they get a ton of attention because they act this way.
Oh, I think
so. It's 10%, and at the end of the day, this was something that jumped out at me. Somebody who jumped on social media, and people were taking victory laps all over this person. But this person was basically saying, they're going to take away this. They're going to do this to me.
Oh, that's what
I'm so right. And they're going through all this. But literally what this person was saying is now they are going to oppress all of us. And it took me a second, but this.
Good luck oppressing me.
No, but Caleb, here's the big deal. This is the major point about this that is really important. Why does this person believe this? Well, they've been told this. Okay, so there's the brainwashers, not the brainwashees. But that's not it. Here's why.
Because that's the way they work.
Yes. Renee, ring the bell. Because if they had gotten the popular vote, the electoral vote in a landslide, if they had gotten the House, the Senate, that is exactly what they wanted to do to you.
You mean self-projection is real?
They did it after the 2020 election.
Yeah.
Renee.
That's exactly what they did after the 2020 election, and that's why they were so scared of Donald Trump getting elected, because they think that he'll do the same to them that they did to us.
Renee, who was the president who looked at the media and said, people need to recognize that elections have consequences? That wasn't 2016. That wasn't 2020. That wasn't 2012. That was, I think, 2008. Who was that? Do you know who that was?
That would have been Barack Hussein Obama.
Who, by the way, go look up the whole birth certificate stuff. Just saying. Just saying. Just saying. Sheriff Joe Arpaio out of Arizona. Let me tell you, he did a real deep investigation that the media would never tell you about. Just saying. I don't know whether all that is that, but it's worth the question. Isn't it, fellas?
Oh, yeah.
Everything is worth a question.
Yep.
Which brings us to the Department of Health and Human Services and the border czar appointments.
I love Tom Homan. I think he's do a great job.
So, I'm like, man, my wife would tell me, no, don't say this.
But you're going to say it anyway, aren't
Well,
you?
she's not here.
I love you, sweetheart. I love you so much. So when I was in the Army, and we would do PT and everything else, and then you had other NCOs running physical fitness. Man, this is gonna bite me one day. But I always get upset. I'm like, why is that fat nasty running PT? And that's what we called them back then. Like they were out of shape, they were struggling, and they were trying to tell other people how to be in shape. They were trying to tell other people how they should eat, and their advice, like you knew it was wrong because they weren't listening to their own advice. And you're like, look, why aren't you drinking enough water?
That's bad
Drink more
optics.
water.
Yeah.
It's really horrible optics, and it's horrible leadership. And that's what we've had. And the people that we've had in charge of health, the people that we've had running the fitness and everything else, even back during Bush, look at what he did with Schwarzenegger. And Schwarzenegger's politics are really way different than, well,
Caleb,
not so much
the
Bush's.
person who was supposed to be running the border.
Yeah.
Look at what we did there.
Yeah.
I mean, literally, one of her answers was, I've been to the border. No, you haven't. Okay, so I haven't been to the border. What does it make a difference? I mean, that was basically what she said, right? to that point, the leadership is terrible.
And look, it trickles down. That trickle down leadership happens. And if you don't empower your people, and if you don't put the right people in power, it falls apart.
Do you know what they call that? They call that culture.
I was going to say nepotism.
and from what I understand, and Tom Homan has not been appointed yet. The name is brought up. I don't know if that's going to be
He
a
hasn't.
Senate.
He hasn't been
Approved.
approved. Yeah,
but
he's got to go through
yes.
Senate. Is that a Senate approval thing?
Yep.
Yeah.
But I heard Border Patrol and ICE and everybody, because he was interim acting ICE director when at the end of Trump's first term. I heard Border Patrol and everybody is just going crazy.
Oh,
Well,
absolutely.
Renee,
They're going crazy with
I'm
it.
curious. Is Border Patrol like Border Patrol?
Yeah, kind of, sort of.
Burrow, that's the donkeys.
It's a contraction.
Ring the bell because we have an appearance of Drunkle.
No, Drunkle hadn't appeared yet.
The burrows are just the donkeys that bring people back and forth. That's all it is.
Look, I just, one of the things that I really like is that number one, and this is something that the people who are losing their minds are failing to recognize. You have a coalition of people. This is not just Republicans who've been appointed. RFK Jr., who wanted to be a Democratic candidate for president of the United States, and they wouldn't let him participate. Think about that for a minute. They took their toys and went home and locked him out of the house. That's what the Democrats did to RFK Jr. You're talking about a freaking Kennedy. I mean, his uncle, for crying out loud, drove a car off a bridge with a woman in it, left her there to drown and die, and nothing happened to him. Only a Democrat gets away with that.
Chappaquiddick, look it up.
Yeah, thank you. Please don't believe me on that. But I mean, Ted Kennedy, this happened, right? They were stalwarts of the Democratic Party. Yeah. And now, who is a Republican president appointing to Department of Health and Human Services? Essentially a guy who's a Democrat. And what I love about this is Republicans are going, yes, right? You've got Democrats, you've got independents, you have almost everyone represented in this cabinet so far. This is the new political party in the United States. And the Democrats, they're in trouble over this.
What I don't like what I'm hearing, go back to the Homan appointment, because Homan is boots on the ground.
Yep.
That is his backyard. He knows everything inside and out. It's a pretty much a clear-cut appointment. All I've been hearing all day long on TV, I know the left's going to complain like a lot, but what they're saying is that
That's an understatement.
They've taken every position and they've said they have no experience in this department. They have no experience in this department. The Homan one is very
Ring the
clear.
bell. Ring the bell. They have no perfect. I don't want a swamp creature who's been there forever doing this again. I want the disruptor. I want the one who doesn't know it.
I want
but it
someone
would-
who's not afraid of change.
But it would be nice if somebody has the inside workings already. Hopefully, when they get there and they get that assignment, they utilize people who are in positions below them who have experience in the actual
Agreed.
department.
Agreed.
That's all I'm saying.
No, I agree with you
mean,
there.
and Holman does have experience in that department. I mean, he did ICE. Yeah,
boots on the ground.
yeah. This guy is probably the most experienced out of all of the appointees he's done so far.
This is what I really like about the appointees that we have so far. Every single one of them, and go back to the monologue. God, this ties in perfectly. They're all rejects. RFK Jr. was a reject from the Democratic Party.
The land of
Tulsi,
Chris-
Tulsi Gabbard.
The land of
Toys.
misfit toys.
It
That's
is.
what I'm saying.
Tulsi Gabbard. Tulsi Gabbard was a reject.
Does that make Trump Cornelius?
Or does it make him Frosty the Snowman?
You
But I mean, that's where we are. And that's what's awesome about this, which is for those who are actually paying attention and not so consumed with their own tears because the only thing that they can see is their own nose, right? Is that this is a true cross section of misfit toys, of rejects, of people who were all pushed aside, who are not government insiders, who know how the system works and know how to get paid by the system and know how to make the friends that they need to make. These are people who are like, I want to blow all of this up. This is the Michael Caine from Batman, from the series, the actual good Batman series, right? The Nolan, the Christopher Nolan series. What I love is that Trump is the Joker. And literally, some men just want to watch the world burn. And he's going to watch it burn because it has to burn.
It has to be born anew, fresh from the ashes.
Correct.
It
I was
has
about
to
to
be
say,
the
and
phoenix.
burning creates new, yes.
Because
Grant, you want to chime in?
it's so broken.
Yeah. Well, what I love about all of these appointments is that if you look at their, I guess you could say their psychological profile, Trump is very assertive aggressive. If you look at videos from Kristi Noem, from Tulsi Gabbard, especially from Gates and from Tom Homan, all of these people, when you try and step on their toes while they're speaking or making a point, they will make it a point to get into your face and say, now that you've had a chance to speak, listen to me. They are very assertive aggressive. And I think that's what kind of jibes with Trump. Is that he's picking people who are very much like him, and when they know they have right on their side, they will go up in your face and let you know what they're thinking.
He has picked, and everyone he has picked, they do all have this one quality. They are all fighters. They are all willing to get their knuckles bloody. They are willing to get into the dirt, into the mud, into the muck. They are willing to take Walker's 1 minute finger and stick it in a place that Walker doesn't want it. But that's what you got to have. Look, a nice guy in this fight can't even compete in the fight. You got to have somebody who's willing to get mean, who's willing to get nasty, who's willing to go right to the line, but not break the rules in the way that the others have broken the rules. And this is why we have to be good winners. We have to be good winners because we still have to obey the rules. The rules matter how you win. It's not just that you win, it's how you win. And everyone he's picked is willing to make sure that even though they might want to get real ugly, dirty, freaky nasty, they'll still obey the rules. And they'll obey your implicit bias.